This is the wonderful thing about this painting, is that it's a gorgeous friend of mine who's Doug, who is a man, a very masculine man. He's absolutely gorgeous. He kind of has slightly kind of elfin characters, maybe something out of, Lord of the Rings, possibly. But he's, what I love about it is that he is someone who doesn't necessarily fit into stereotypical types of gender, which is what makes it so wonderful sitting in the same room as the winning portrait, because it's about this questioning and about how do you think about things differently. And a lot of people have looked at it and gone, oh, well, that's a girl. But he's a very beautiful man, and there's a lot of beauty in men. And that's the thing that I wanted to show, because the whole idea of painting is to paint things that you don't see. So I haven't done the thick, chunky kind of style of painting, but I'm not a photorealist either. I think about the impression of a person and I create a impression of that. So it's about kind of like a person's aura, the way that they enter a room, the way that they move, the way that I sense them is the thing that I want to get through. So when talking about even just something as simple as the painting of leaves, I'm not a photorealist. I would never pretend to be that, but I'm giving enough of an impression to get the mood and the sense of those leaves, but without having to be that kind of really, the thing that, the impressionist kind of big, thick paint. It's like there's more subtlety in it for me, and that's what I like. So I knew I wanted to paint Doug, and because he's a gorgeous, incredible person, inside and out. He's from the country, I'm from the country, I'm from regional South Australia, he's from regional New South Wales. And when I moved here 4 years ago, we had this instant connection. And his love of landscape, his love of the environment. And so I said, come round to my house and we'll have a sitting. And he came around, and that morning I didn't know what he was going to hold or what he was going to have, and I walked up to the supermarket and I saw these gum leaves, and it was actually the smell of the gum leaves, because the smell reminded me of Doug. So whether it's some kind of crazy weird synesthesia kind of thing, that I smelt this thing in the supermarket and I went, that's Doug. And then I brought them home, and that's what we used for the sitting of his portrait. It is extraordinary. When I found out that I was a finalist, I got an instant headache. I was so excited. It was just kind of crazy to think about being hung. But there's so many artists that I know and I respect that weren't hung. And there's something to be said of this competitive kind of environment that we set up for artists, because artists do what they do because they need to do it. They just need to do it. And there's a wonderful quote from Bela Bartok, is that competitions are made for horses, not artists. So there's this sense of absolute wonderful kind of sense of being recognised, but it's also like, why aren't we recognising all of the amazing work that's happening in and around our communities, in and around our environment, like every day? Absolutely, like this has been a massive year. I haven't won a major prize in Australia, but this year I've been a finalist in the Archibald Prize, I've been a finalist in the Blake Prize, I've been a finalist in the Portia Geach Prize, and I'm a finalist in the Doug Moran. So that's a pretty great, recognition that something's going right. I'm doing something that is speaking through, and as an artist, all you want to do is try and communicate through your art and to try and express the way that you see the world outside of media, outside of everything. Because that's the thing, as an artist, you have complete control. This is your world. You're sitting in a studio and this is a closed environment, and to try and have that opportunity to just speak your mind, it's so rare. And to have it hung here, of Doug, it's wonderful. The reason why people need to see this in person is because there's something about the time spent in front of a canvas. All of the artists here, every single finalist here has worried, has spent that, like they've been in their studio, they've been one-on-one with the canvas. And I think the scariest thing in the world is to stand in front of a blank canvas. The second scariest thing is to show it to other people. So for people to come in and actually see that energy, to see this real life, it's like compressed time. People can look at it and see the amount of time, the amount of emotion, the amount of struggle that people go through in the surface. I mean, it's extraordinary in a world of iPads and iPhones that you can actually get that sense of physicality through a surface. That's an amazing thing. That's why people should see it.